Hey guys, Ryan here from Indy Wrestling School, and today we're going to book our dream independent wrestling card coming up. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single week. So I've gotten this question a number of times over the years about, what would be your dream card if you could book anybody from anywhere and kind of do anything? And truth be told, I've never really given it too much thought, so I'm going to try to do it right now, and I have nothing prepared and no ideas in mind, outside of a couple people that I want to use. Number one for me is always going to be Jerry Lawler. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. Love Lawler. And maybe I would do something where he's trying to chase another world championship, maybe something like the NWA championship. And if he's going to challenge for the NWA championship, there's only one guy that kind of really represents the NWA, or at least did in the modern era, and that's Nick Aldis. I think Nick Aldis versus Jerry Lawler would be a great kind of main event. Now, for an undercard, I would probably do something like one of my tag team champions. We use a team called the Marvelous Ones, which is Greg Spitz and Teddy Fine, and a great heel team. And I'd love to see them against somebody, another set of legends like the Rock and Roll Express or something like that. And I don't know that I would, because I would want Lawler over and winning the NWA title in the end. So I don't know that I would want to do the same thing here, but maybe something along those lines where either the heels keep the titles, but they win by DQ or something like that, where the Rock and Roll Express win the match but not the belts, or maybe they just win the belts. I definitely would like to see some sort of an ECW homage match with, some of the guys that could still work really strong, and then another ECW style match that would be like a story, and maybe something with like maybe a Shane Douglas and Francine kind of thing against maybe a Tommy Dreamer or something like that, and then maybe like Rhino versus an Al Snow or Rob Van Dam or something to that effect would be kind of cool. I think Rhino and Rob Van Dam had a couple matches in ECW, but I'd kind of like to see that TV title that I felt like we never really got because Rob Van Dam was hurt, and then Rhino kind of took the TV title, and then by the time Rob Van Dam came back, they never were able to fully build to that program. At least that's how it worked in my memory. So I'd like to do something like that, where there's kind of an homage to ECW because that was such a big part of my childhood. I always think like a battle royal would be cool, but for me, I think I would, rather than just do a bunch of young guys, maybe put a couple young guys in like a 6-person ladder match or scramble match, because the crowd always likes that. And as far as a battle royal, I would like to do, since budget's no option, I would like to do a Legends battle royal, sort of like they did with the Gimmick battle royal, where you get guys who, are a little older and stuff like that. And maybe the rule is you don't have to go over the top rope, you just have to be knocked off the apron or something to that effect, just to make it easier for some of the guys who are a little bit older. But I always think it's nice just to get their entrances, let them get a pop, and then kind of have the match. And, whoever wins. Maybe somebody like Tito Santana or something like that would win. A big thing for me, if you know anything about how I book shows, is I don't want a ton of matches, but since it's a dream show or whatever, I can kind of do more matches than I normally would. But I think I'm at about 6 matches, so next would really be like production at that point, and starting to think about production. I definitely would want a camera on a jib kind of moving up and down. I like how that always looked. I think Ring of Honor did it for a couple years. WWE uses it sometimes. I'm not sure if AEW does, but I always liked that kind of as the hard camera. Rather than just having a stationary hard camera, I'd like to see a camera on a jib. Definitely a corner camera. We typically will use GoPros, but obviously we'd use something high end. As far as commentary, I would get Joey Styles and Jesse the Body Ventura to do commentary. A weird combination, I know, but Jesse the Body Ventura, so much, between him, Bobby Heenan, and Gorilla Monsoon, just absolutely the voice of my childhood. Like, I know that phrase gets thrown out all the time with commentating, and I could say the same thing about Joey Styles. I mean, I was kind of a teenager or just about to be a teenager when ECW was around, but to me, Joey Styles is the greatest commentator of all time. So I would definitely do Joey Styles and Jesse Body Ventura. I think it'd be an awesome combination, and I'd be interested to hear what they would come up with. I definitely would try to get some like classic managers, like a Jim Cornette or somebody like that, because I feel like managers are something that's lacking in kind of today's wrestling world. So I'd love to see some classic managers, as well as some up and coming managers from the independent scene, kind of have them clash or meet in the middle somewhere. I think that'd be kind of a cool way to pass the torch, so to speak, from one generation to another. But what do you think? Is this something you would be interested in? Is that something that interests you, or would you do something different? And what would you do? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, beat the out of the like button, and we'll see you next week right here on Indy Wrestling School.